Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October the 19th, 2021. The time is now 5:38, I think it is. And you're at the City of Opa-locka CRA Board meeting. We're going to now call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Yes, madam. Board Member Bass.
I'm here.
Board Member Packard, he will be in at 6 p.m. today. Board Member Taylor.
Here.
Board Member Williams.
Here.
Vice Chair Davis.
Here.
Chair Russell.
Here.
And Madam Chair, are you going to speak on Ms. Titus?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Titus would not be joining us today. She had an accident a couple of days ago, so she's not feeling well. So we're gonna ask Board Member Taylor if you will lead us in prayer, and after that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
God, we thank you for bringing us together one more time in your name. God, we ask that you come into this meeting that we may have peace and do your will for your people. And also, God, before we end this prayer, we want to send a special prayer of healing to Commissioner Titus. Heal her from the crown of her head to the soles of her feet. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, as we start our meeting today, the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we know that the commission on last week, you all celebrated, but I am a breast cancer survivor. So today, I, along with many, many other people, have gone through the trenches. And I am grateful to the Lord that it has been 5 years and I am cancer free. So to all of those women and men that are struggling and going through with chemo and radiation and just the fear of the word cancer, our prayer and thoughts go out to them this month, and not only this month, throughout the year. So we remember them. Before we go further, we have some people, I think, on Zoom.
Yes, madam. According to Mr. Delane's request, we will have, if not, Mr. Leonard Berg and Miss Leah from the OLCDC, correct, Mr. Delane? Will there be anyone else joining us today on Zoom?
I can't, she's not coming through clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear, but it's kind of muffled.
Okay, so per Mr. Delane's request, we will have some people joining us via Zoom, Mr. Leonard Berg, and we also have representation, Ms. Leah with the Opa-locka CDC, per Mr. Delane's request. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, do we have any add-on items? Do we have an add-on? Okay. Let's move to the minutes, the approval of the minutes, please. Can someone move it?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Chair, I think, Davis, and second by Board Member Taylor. Any discussion, any corrections? If not, Madam, roll call.
Board Member Bass?
Yes.
Board Member Taylor?
Yes.
Board Member Williams?
Yes.
Vice Chair Davis?
Yes.
Chair Russell?
Yes.
Minutes passed.
We're moving into public comments now, and today I believe we're going to be doing public comments just a little bit different than we normally do. We have some people in the audience that Mr. Delane would like to introduce to the board. So are we giving them a time limit?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
There will be allotted 2 minutes, and if the board would like to hear more, a maximum of 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay, did everyone hear that? He's given them 2 minutes. And then if the board wants to ask more questions, we'll go further. Okay.
So at this time, I would actually like to call up the developers as well as community partners who would all be interested in introducing themselves to the board. It's no particular order, but whoever would like to come up and speak first, you're well within your wherewithal to do so at this time.
Should I take my mask off or do I leave it on? Doesn't matter. Leave it on? Take it off. Okay, thank you. Thank you. My name is Nikisha Williams and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Opa-locka Community Development Corporation. I'm honored to be here today. As many of you know, we are partners with the city of Opa-locka, particularly from a supportive services perspective. But what we don't talk about very often is our work in the development space. And so I wanted to use this opportunity just to tell you all about some of the work that we've done over the last 41 years, I believe, here in the city of Opa-locka. So we've developed and sold 145 single family homes. This is how we started out our work. Through partnerships, we've built more than 2,500 units of rental housing. We estimate that about 6,700 individuals and families now live in quality housing because of the work that we've done. We currently own, if I'm not mistaken, 2 affordable housing units in the city of Opa-locka, including Aswan Villages, which we're really excited because we just purchased that. We just became the full owners of Aswan Village, and that was a fight, a huge 2-3 year legal fight that was not cheap, but we're really proud to say that we are now owners and we can go in and provide the supportive services. But the last thing I'll add is that community planning work has been at the heart of what we do. In 2010, we received $20 million, a neighborhood stabilization planning grant that really allowed us to do some comprehensive planning. We've also received a choice planning grant. And all of that really informs the work that we do as we do our development. And as many of you know, one of the things that we're currently working on is City Terrace. And so this is a new development, mixed use development. It's still in the planning stages, but we're talking about 4 new buildings, approximately 261 units, a parking garage, commercial space. Again, it is still in the early phases of being developed, but this, as we look to the work that you all are doing to redevelop downtown Opa-locka, we consider ourselves partners, and this is something that we are also very interested in working with you all on. So I will entertain any questions.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions? Board Member Bass.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you have been doing in the city of Opa-locka, and I'm looking forward to see even more. With that being said, the statistics that you just gave, can we have, or at least can I have a copy of it?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else? Board Member Taylor.
In regards to the last thing that you said about you said it was called City Terrace,
Correct.
and that's a mixed use building or just straight commercial?
Mixed use development. So it's affordable housing as well as commercial development and a parking lot.
So commercial on the bottom, housing on the top.
Correct.
Okay, and you said it was 4 units?
4 buildings.
4 buildings.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Vice Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Williams and Opa-locka CDC. Always excited to see and get an update of what's new on the horizon in the city. I think, I'm pretty familiar with many of the work and projects that the Opa-locka CDC has done over the years. I'm very excited to see them continue to advocate for affordable housing and economic opportunities for our residents. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Board Member Williams?
Thank you, Ms. Williams. We share the same last name, so you gotta be great. For just all the great work that you're doing in the community. I believe it was in a month or two ago, I attended the Adrian Arts event that was there, and it was awesome. And we got to walk and see the lights, the light show and everything. So I look forward to the great partnership, and I'm glad to hear that we're, talking about housing and affordable housing. We know that it's needed in our community. So thank you again, and I look forward to a partnership
Thank you so
for
much.
many years to come. Thank you.
Well, the only question that I have, you talked about the city terrace. We know all the great work that you all at the CDC does, and I echo everyone's sentiments. We're very grateful for what you're doing and what you're going to be doing in the future. And that city terrace, what piece of property are you looking at?
Great question. So it's property that we own currently.
Mhm.
And so it is the parking lot next to the Hurt Building, so the dirt lot next to the Hurt Building. You also have what is currently the Arc, so we would use that property as well. Across the street from the Arc, there's a lot that is empty. So it's across the street from the Arc, but right next to the VFW train station. That is the third lot. And then the fourth lot is the large plot of land that shares the same block as town center apartment buildings. So, they've got that large grassy area right across the street from the post office. So currently those are the 4 lots that make up the development. However, I know there have been discussions about adding on, potentially more sites, but right now, those are the sites that we own.
How many floors are you talking?
So in the latest plans that I looked at, and like I said, it's still in early phases.
Of course.
8 floors.
8 floors.
Mhm.
Okay, that's all the questions that I have. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all so much.
The floor is yours. You better get it while you can.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much. Ms. Russell, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Corian, I know. Not sure if I met everybody else here. I'm Mark Haynes. I'm actually representing my team, which my better half, Jonathan Vilma. He's at another meeting for another situation he's working on, actually in the similar same area. Well, John, Vilma, and myself, we have been working very closely with Corian, and we're also working very closely with Willie Logan and the CDC, and ongoing discussions around how we are combining our efforts, that is, to bring in some new housing stocks and mixed use development projects going forward. So that's happening as we speak. And I don't know what else to say, but just want to say hello, and we're excited to be a part of this effort. I think seeing the master plan and how that came out, we were encouraged before that plan was introduced to everybody to be coming in here and really helping and bringing in the development that's necessary to really uplift this community and making things a lot better for those that live here and that need to come and live here, because Opa-locka is definitely on the rise. So we're here to help you and get this moving. So I'll leave it at that. Any questions? Hopefully I can answer.
Board members?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Mark, you said you guys are working on a project with the Opa-locka CDC?
We're in discussions right now in combining our efforts. We had been originally working directly with Corian, and we met with Ms. Russell as well, and the city manager, Mr. Gay and Mr. Ellis, and really looking to better provide a much larger scaled product to become reality. And I think we've advance those discussions. Actually, this week, we had a great conversation with them as well. So things are definitely moving along. We're very excited, like I said, to see what we can build bigger and better.
That's great.
Thank you. And I think we're all very, very, very excited to see what you guys are working on and the final product. So I know you guys are still early in the design stage, but whenever you get to that point, we would greatly appreciate a formal presentation or any sort of supporting documents that will help paint the vision.
Absolutely.
What you're looking to achieve.
Absolutely. And the guidance we've received so far has been great. And I think, what Willie and his team has been doing in the city alone is really good as a testament to what can happen and what should happen, really. And the reality is there's no reason why we can't attract whom you want to be moving into this area with the right product, the right mix between the commercial use, multifamily, and really making a nice place for people to attract the right people to come move into Opa-locka. So yeah, would love to bring those to you as soon as possible. I know we're working on it. We're there. We're getting there.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? I love it when I hear the word partnership. That sounds great to me. When you have developers that can come together and put together a project that's gonna help the community. I love the word partnership. So I'm looking forward to see what that's gonna look like.
Absolutely. And when you can create the density in the situation that we're facing here, which is really building that housing stock or creating a new bunch of housing stock, having the ability to have density in the positioning of these spots right around, it was the other side, right by what you were just talking about. Actually, I never met you. I want to say hello to you. But yes, it's exciting to be looking at it from the inside, it's kind of like building the onion from the inside out, right? We're looking at the center of downtown, the businesses and the business district, and really moving it out and to start there and to create what needs to be created to attract the businesses and the people that we want to live here is really key to having this be a success. So we're excited.
Mark, in short, give us a little bit of your background.
Oh, okay. I was born and raised in New York. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a transplant, but 21 years. So this is really
Your development background.
Well, I've been in commercial real estate all my life. So I'm currently with Coastal Construction. I am their business development guy. I've been in sort of my side hustle, if you will. I've been a part of development projects. I don't know if you may have read an article that just came out. There's a big project that just got approved, which is on the other end of the spectrum over in the Edgewater area. But nonetheless, I'm here to provide Mr. Vilma a lot of guidance with respect to the construction side of the process. And I bring with myself a lot of background and experience in commercial real estate and that side of things, and on the finance side and the investment side, and attracting the investors and really putting the project together and being an intricate part of that project team. So that's really what I bring to it, is the ability to move a process.
Okay, sounds good. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice seeing you
Same
again, too.
here. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys. Really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Sammy Lammy. I'm with Fuse Group. We are a real estate developer out. Our office is out in Broward, but I'm here because we want to create a partnership with the Opa-locka CRA. I am also colleagues with Corian through other real estate trade associations. Currently, we do have relationships with other CRAs. With Fort Lauderdale CRA, we're about to start a relationship with Grove CRA tomorrow. We have a relationship with Hollandale CRA. So we have relationships with CRAs all throughout South Florida. We would love to, have a relationship with the Opa-locka CRA. We were able to read the master plan also. So we're definitely excited to see what you guys got going on Opa-locka. And as you know, as gentleman said, the housing stock, keeping the identity of Opa-locka, that's important. So anything that we can do to partner with Opa-locka to, continue those goals, we here at Fuse Group, we are right there with it. I'll take any questions. I can tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a hometown kid, not from Opa-locka, I'm from Little Haiti, but Miami. I'm from Miami. Attended FAMU. That's where I got my undergrad degree, Rattlers.
Oh, don't start that,
And,
please.
did
Got some rattlers in the house.
Yes, that's good. And from there, did some real estate out in New York. Decided to come back to South Florida. Got my master's in real estate at FIU. And ever since, I've been working with this development firm out in Broward, and we have a couple projects. We're doing affordable housing in Fort Lauderdale, and then we just have a mixture of other asset types all throughout South Florida.
I didn't get your name.
It's Sammy Lammy. So it rhymes. It really rhymes.
Okay. Any questions from the board members? We would like to acknowledge Board Member Paget just walked in as well. Good to see you. Any questions from board members?
Yes,
Taylor?
through the chair. You say you currently now have a housing development that you're doing in Fort Lauderdale. And what was the other part of the city you said?
So yeah, we're in a process of going through entitlements with a 492 multifamily in Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to be receiving money from the Fort Lauderdale CRA for that project.
Okay,
We have other projects within the CRA, but it's more, it's not residential, but more trying to bring office space, and they have like districts, like warehouses we're trying to repurpose. So that's our main project that we're working on right now. And then the other asset types we have, it's like office buildings and stuff. So it's nothing like CRA type related, but we do have a lot of investors who does want to help out with the affordable housing crisis that we have in America. So our investors are really big about helping that stock. So we're big on that.
you said it's whose group?
Hey, Fuse, like, how you put a fuse.
Oh, Fuse Group.
Fuse, yes.
Fuse Group.
FUSE, Fuse, yes.
Got it. All right, thank you, Mr. Randall.
No problem.
Anyone else?
Yes, Chairwoman
Yes, ma'am.
Russell. Thank you for wanting to partner. That word right there is key for us. I heard you mention that you have warehouses that you're repurposing. What are you repurposing them to? And
Well, so it's crazy, similar to Opa-locka, but it's in Fort Lauderdale, but the neighborhood is called Sis Trunk. And if
Yes,
you read
very
about Sis
familiar.
Trunk, it's
Yes.
a predominantly African-American neighborhood. And it's very close to downtown. I mean, super, super close. So when you read the history about Sis Trunk, it was arts, entertainment, and music. So right now, a lot of those warehouses are used for towing services, car repairs, and all these things. Kind of like if we go on Alibaba Avenue. So basically, what we're working in the master plan with the city is repurposing all those buildings. So at some point, of course, the owners of those buildings are probably going to want to sell it, and then to someone who wants to repurpose it. And what we want to do, we want to add artistry. We want to make spaces. We want to do business incubators for the small businesses.
Mhm.
And then it's when you repurpose a warehouse space to a retail space, it's not as much money. You know what I mean? So like if you want a barber shop, or if you want, any other types of business, it won't be as much because you're converting it from a warehouse. So that's what we're working on right now. So it's a 3 to 5 year plan, but our partners at the CRA and our partners at the city, and then of course the community, because that's the important stakeholder, the residents. So right now we're trying to figure out ways is how do we incorporate the residents so it doesn't look like gentrification. We don't want it to be gentrification. We want it to be inclusive.
Very
And
good.
include everyone in the community. And that's what's very, very important to us at Fuse.
thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Like that word partnership.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oscar Robina. I'm a civil engineer, but I've worked in the city since I graduated in '07 from college with basic community development as well as public works and numerous projects. And my father's firm before that actually has done numerous projects here, from Town Center 1, the apartments, also Mirage at Sailboat Cove, which is now finally being finished. It started in 2004. And a few other projects here and there, but I've actually put in contact with Corian, Mr. Bernie Coppell, who has finished some recent projects in Miami Gardens that basically have caught the eye of Corian and Mr. Gay. And I'm going to just introduce him to go ahead and discuss.
Good evening. My name is Bernie Coppell. I'm with Florida Residential Solutions. Our developments are typically infill community developments, and we like to partner with the cities and looking at their visions and their expectations of what they have for their community. And that's where part of our success has taken us. We have projects that were completed in Miami Gardens. We have another one that's in the approval process in Florida City that it's in desperate need for rentals for their workforce housing leading through and for the city. We have a second phase to our successful project in Miami Gardens and a third phase that are being right now zoned and approved. And we have other opportunities in Homestead and in North Miami. And we love the opportunity to work with the city of Opa-locka, like you say, in a partnership to try to see what their visions are and what their expectations are to be brought into the community for development. The advantage we have is we're self-financed. We don't seek for public financing or third-party financing. And that's where we can turn around projects like the one in Miami Gardens in 9.5 months after shovel-in. So, and that allowed us to be able to be leased on a 50-unit, workforce housing unit, and we were leased in 90 days, 100% with a wait list that it's unbearable. Every day we keep getting calls for more and more. So that's what's taking us to the other steps, and the city is very happy with the product. So they've opened the doors for us to continue to be part of it, and that's the same opportunity that we would like to, develop in a relationship with your city.
There's one project in particular, a property that's been discussed with Corian, and that's the old water treatment plant. And right now we're looking at that, and we're meeting with the architect to figure out what sort of mixed use development we can place at that site. And it looks like the site has a good size, and all the information we've received from both Corian and Mr. Gay have been helpful in actually going forward, and we're hoping to provide some preliminary conceptual drawings sooner than later. It takes a little bit of time to get something together, but we're hoping to move forward with that with you guys.
Any questions from the board?
Chairwoman,
Yes, sir.
through the chair, you talked about a property in Miami Gardens that you're currently working on. Which one is it?
We completed a 50-unit townhouse development on 191st Street. It was just basically CO'd early part of the year with the city, and it was occupied all within 60 to 90 days. We have a second phase around the same area.
That's the one
and
right
we're-
across the street from the crossing behind the plaza?
No, that's all towards 27th. We're further in on 34th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all a modern
Just
style
past-
look
Yeah, it is.
townhouse
It is,
development.
yeah. I know, exactly, yeah.
Next to the Catholic Church. Yeah, just
Yes.
opposite,
As a matter of fact, I was riding down
That's a nice one.
191st the other day, and I said, when did they put this here?
They threw it, y'all, they threw it up.
I said, they just threw it.
That's the same reaction we got from Mayor Gilbert once he came by the project and says, whoa, where did this come from? That's what you approved.
Yeah, I
The
rode
second-
by there. I said, I just passed by there. I said, boy, it looks nice from the street.
It looks
I
nice.
started to ride through, but I was kind of busy, but from the street, it looks like a very nice project.
And the second phase to that is actually coming in like
Down the block.
literally on that same block on 33rd. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. How many units is it?
This one was 50, our second phase will be 60, and our next project in the city is gonna be 120 units.
Oh, wow. That's
And that is low income housing or workforce?
We categorize them workforce, although we try to provide all the amenities and luxuries that people expect to get, on market rate housing. But I mean, we try to be, as best as we can, and that's what makes us successful, in trying to be able to be at price, for the community.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Anyone else?
Well, I don't really have a question, Chairwoman, but I just want to say thank you. I believe workforce housing has been one of those affordability gaps in our community for some time. So we've always done well with, developing affordable housing below 60% AMI, but really looking at those opportunities above 80, going into 100 to 20%. So thank you very much for considering our community. And we hope you're able to bring those opportunities. Thank you.
We look forward to working with the city and the CRA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe we have 3 more people to speak. You would like to speak?
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Nicole Jordan, and with me, Cindy Broussard. We're both citizens of Opa-locka. Myself, I've just returned to the state since leaving in 1989 when I graduated high school. And so after returning back to the city, I've been able to see where I was born and raised. And Lucindy talked to me about a restaurant, a dream and a vision that she had about bringing it to the city of Opa-locka, and how because of the economy and how Opa-locka is trying to grow, and with all the discussion that's going on in the room with partnership and development and building, we want to pitch this idea to you. And this idea is that it's going to be a dine-in restaurant with soul food, seafood, and health options with the down-home hospitality, invite, taste, and cuisine of the Miami area. And so if you're not familiar, but let me ask you all a question. Are you familiar with Tasties, the restaurant Tasties? Okay, so it already has a brand associated with it. And so with that, Lucindy wants to bring that brand to the diner that she wants to introduce to Opa-locka, and let that be a part of the staple and the mark and the target of Opa-locka growing. Because as I came back to Miami, I've only been home about 18 days. And as I'm driving through the city, it would be nice to be able to see some of the landmarks in Opa-locka instead of going all the way here and all the way there. So it would be nice to have a business that is reputable and quality that's not in Miami, but in Opa-locka. And so we would like to throw this pitch to you right now. Now, I don't know if we're going to be partners, but we want your support. We want some funding, some grants, and some guidance about how we can make this happen. And so the young man up there, Corian. So if you need to reach out to us, you can contact us through him. Now, I know that was short and sweet, but it was all kind of like last minute, let's get up here and let's present this to you all. So if you have any questions, go ahead and aim.
The food master right there. Tell her the food master. Go ahead.
Well, 2 things. Number 1, I want to say welcome back home.
Thank you.
And 2, I'm familiar with Tasties. Your cuisine, is quite well. But what does that actually look like when it comes down to partnerships with businesses on our end? And I'm sorry, that wasn't a question for you. It's more of a question for.
So within the previous budget that was approved, we actually provided at least a leeway to begin that process of small business assistance. And that's something that we'll be working towards creating the framework of what that looks like in terms of assisting businesses that are looking to make their, basically make Opa-locka their new home. So there is a process in place to enable that activity.
So that's like, it's a grant program, a lottery program, or is it?
It'll be a grant program based on particular criteria that'll be vetted by the board, and then it'll be presented and ratified at that time.
I'm down if you can bring that good food to Opa-locka now. I'm ready to bring it.
Chairwoman Russell,
Yes, Board Member Williams.
so you sold me at soul food, seafood, healthier.
Yeah,
healthy dishes too. This is wonderful. I think this is something that, and again, like Board Member Taylor said, welcome home. But this is something that we need. This, you just, thank you for bringing this and having that idea and following through with it and coming and saying, this was led in my spirit to do this in a city that I was born and raised. We need this so bad, and for you to, the both of you, to step out on your purpose and make this happen. I will be dining there 3 nights a week, maybe 4. But really, thank you, and I hope that we can assist to make this dream come true for the both of you. And I would like to say to Mr. Delane, there's a saying called good trouble, but you gonna be good busy from what I see happening right now.
Yeah.
You about to be busy, so like, go on, young man.
Looking forward to it.
Madam Chair.
Board Member Bass.
We had this conversation today. I've been in Opa-locka for 30 years, and I'm literally tired of having to drive out of my hometown, Opa-locka, to get something to eat after one of these meetings and long day at work. And just to correct a vice chair board member here, she would be 5 days a week, maybe 7. Trust me. But I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be a beautiful thing. And like everybody else says, we don't know what it's going to take to make it happen, but God didn't give you a dream not to see it come through. So blessings.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say thank you to the brave women of Opa-locka. Welcome back home, and we look forward to supporting you in whichever way that we can. I know recently, as a board item, we advocated to redefine our finding of necessity, which is pretty much our finding documents that that ultimately determines what type of projects we can support, whether it's small businesses or individuals in our community that are looking to buy homes for the first time, those sort of things. So as we, work on this board and, we look at those documents, we're hoping that this is just the first step, those funds that were allocated in this budget, but we definitely look forward to expanding that scope and working with more residents in the near future. So thank you and continue all the great work.
Thank you.
And last but finally not least, when you talk about, I'm gonna welcome the healthy eating. Okay, I'm not gonna go down on that end down there. Meal plans, healthy meal plans and that type of thing. We're gonna be looking for that. So we look forward to, everybody's been talking about developing housing. So we're also looking at restaurants, entertainment, and other things that's a part of the master plan to make our downtown area, not only, but the whole CRA area, a much more vibrant place that people will want to come and something to draw them to Opa-locka. So we look forward to it. And not only to you all, but everyone that have come up tonight, we look forward to working with you all. Like they said, Mr. Delane is going to be very, very busy because we have a lot of people that's interested, and they're bringing something with them. They're not just normally when people come to Opa-locka, they're looking for something, but everyone that have gotten up here tonight is bringing something to the community. So I'm excited about what's about to happen in Opa-locka. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you all. Thank you for what you do.
Okay. Who's this?
Good evening. How you guys doing? My name is Michael. I'm currently a youth leader over here in the church of Pentecostal Church of God over here in Charlie Street. I came to you guys just to present an idea. I was speaking to Mr. Corey. I met him at a barbershop, and we kind of wanted to present an idea of how we can get the youth of this community together. I was really happy with what you guys did on Saturday. We know that Opa-locka is a growing community within the Hispanic community, and I appreciated that you guys made an event for the upcoming Hispanic community as we're growing. I wanted to bring forth an idea to have like a concert to bring forth the community and to unite the youth. Before, a little bit of my background, I was actually a commissioner in my council for the youth for the South District over here in Florida. We have a big congregation, a big amount of youth that I know that they'll like to get more active in the city that they reside in. I know that they'll like to just basically sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I know that they'll like to get together and just share things where that they could unite, together in the city. I know I'm a alumni in Miss Russell's program, Teen Up or Bound, and I remember as a kid, she will often participate in city events. I know that one time we celebrated the city's 80th anniversary over here, and with the theme that this city will be beautiful, that's something that remained in my heart forever. And it would be lovely to see other events where the youth can participate. I went to Robert Reed Ingram Elementary School. There I met Miss Bass. I went over there and I like how we often got, the kids and we often got the youth together to participate in a lot of things. I know we do a lot of activity for kids, but it will be lovely to see a lot of young men and young women be active in the city and start caring about, what the city likes to promote, which is unity. And so I wanted to present, I even spoke to a couple of people I would like to headline. None of these people that I would like to headline this community concert or anything like that are people that they curse or promote violence or anything like that. Well, it'll be like great music, great R&B, great hip hop, non-cursing, nothing like that. Things that are promote the city and just the youth of this community to come together and unite as one. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Said a lot.
You guys have any questions?
Well, one, I want to say, you sold me the fact that you're a young man and that and I speak for my colleagues in ministry. You don't see a lot of that. So that's one of the things that you sold me on, and the fact that you want to give back to your community, because we don't have a lot of young men that are willing to do that.
That's right.
There's 3 of us up here that ran for office. So I'm sure, and I speak for these 2, we'll stand with you. So whatever we can do to ensure that dreams come true in this community, I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to help you with that. So yeah, I want to work with you. I personally want to work with you. So I'm gonna ask Randy to get your number so that me and you can set up a meeting so we can put that event together.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Any further questions?
I think I saw Board Member Bass.
How you doing?
Actually, he said to you what I wanted to say to you, but he just got you first. But we will work together. We'll work together to make it happen.
Thank you.
We'll make it happen.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Commissioner Russell, I'm sorry, Chairwoman Russell.
Yes.
First, let me just say, I love your smile.
Thank you.
Okay, like you walked up and you just gave me that smile and I was like, whatever you want, what you want. Let me open. Really, so yeah, we will all work with you together as one board to make that possible for you. We're gonna make it happen
Thank you.
by any means necessary.
I appreciate that.
Mm.
Chair Russ.
Chair Russell, if I may, just to to plug, shameless plug, because my colleagues don't know yet, because it's almost done, but I wanted to get it done before I present it to you. We're having a night of Thanksgiving on the 19th, where churches are coming in to celebrate. So you might want to tag along with that also.
Okay, we'll do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair Russell. I'm looking at this young man's face and I'm like, I've seen him before. So I'm gonna just tell you about the first time I met Michael. So I get a phone call when we were distributing gift cards, just giving out the CARES Act funding. And it was this young man, and he's saying, hey, I have these elderly residents and they're really in need. And we would really appreciate it if you can create some sort of provision where they would be able to have access to the gift card giveaway. And I just remember thinking like, wow, this is a phenomenal young man. Like he's not partying or, doing probably what I did or most young men are doing at his age, right? Like he's being responsible and he's really feeling the need in the community and he's advocating for people. So, man, it's just great to see you still being consistent in that, man, and continue to do the work. So any way that my colleagues can support you, Michael, I mean, you have my unwavering support, man. Continue the great work.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all be blessed.
Now, I have to say something. Y'all don't know Michael. Michael was in my program. Michael must have been about 4. He says 4. He was 4. I was letting 4-year-olds slip in. But anyway, Michael has grown into he never forgets. He always come back. Miss Russell, what can I do to help my community? What can I do to get involved? He always does that. And when Michael's mother didn't speak much English, so I used to have to go with her to the school to talk to the teachers. And I told Michael one day he was going to be, because he's short, so he used to have he used to have some complexes going on. But I told him one day you're going to be a great man. You're going to be a great big man, and to see him grow. And he's always calling and saying, what can I do? So when I saw him here tonight, I was very surprised. What is Michael doing here? But he's always trying to do something for the community. And we applaud you, Michael. God is going to richly bless you. His pastor on Saturday was at the event, and he also said that he wanted his youth to get more involved in the city and what's going on. So
appreciate you.
Great job. Great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I think that's I'm sorry, we have a Zoom participant. 3? Okay. Okay, we have Miss Melody Berg from Mayor Carver's office.
Hi, hello. I am just so grateful to be a part of this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Delane, for the invitation. Of course, Mayor Carver could not be with you all, but she definitely wanted me to attend and to take notes and to report back to her of all the wonderful things that you did. And so far, I am loving what I'm hearing. I like the restaurant idea. I will definitely be there 3 days a week myself. And the young man that just spoke, I am just so, very proud that you are just giving back and staying in touch and being a part of your community, because we don't have a lot of young Black men doing what you're doing. So Keep doing what you're doing, everyone. You all are doing a fabulous job. We're all proud of you. And like I said, I'll be taking notes and reporting to the mayor. And if there's anything that I can do, like I mentioned on Saturday when I saw some of you, please do not hesitate to call. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm assigned to the city of Opa-locka as your governmental affairs liaison. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the call and being involved, and give Mayor Carver our best and let her know how much we appreciate all that she's doing and going to do for the city of Opa-locka. Board Member Paget, I saw your hand.
Is that the last speaker?
No, we have two more.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay, all right. Who's next?
I believe there's a Leonard Burke.
Can everyone hear me? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mr. Delane, for inviting me. And I would say this is a really great day, being able to just listen and watch in on some of the activity that's been discussed. And more importantly, I think it's really encouraging to see some of the residents come up and speak about their desires and initiatives on what they want to do and what they want to see in their city and their hometown. So I'm Leonard Burke. I'm managing partner of Cornerstone Strategic Partners, a real estate development company based out of Tampa, Florida. And I have my business partner, Miles Alexander, with Alexander Goshen. He's based out of Atlanta, and he has an office in Fort Lauderdale. But I'm originally from Miami. I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida. I went to Miami Cara City Senior High School, which is a couple of blocks away. So when I was speaking with Corian about the CRA and the efforts that the downtown CRA is trying to do, it really just hit home with me, because once I left Miami to come to Tampa and go to University of South Florida and being part of real estate and real estate development, it's always been a desire and a dream of mine to be able to come back and give back to my hometown and do some type of project. And more importantly, just to kind of have a presence. So this is really, the timing couldn't have been better. From my experience standpoint, I've worn several different hats, and I've done several different roles within the real estate development space, the commercial real estate space. I worked for about 8 to 10 years with the Housing Authority in Tampa, running their asset management department, but also being a part of some transformative redevelopment efforts on their development side. One was a 28-acre redevelopment in the downtown Tampa area called the Encore Tempo District. The second is West River, Tampa, which is a 44-acre redevelopment, and all was your traditional vintage public housing communities that was revitalized into urban town centers. And as I think about my experience and my efforts in Tampa, it just makes a lot of sense to see what the downtown CRA is trying to do. Since leaving the Housing Authority, I've been able to source my own projects, and my development partner, Miles, he's done a lot of work. I mean, he's actively involved on hospitality development, acquisition, ALF, multifamily, retail, mixed use, and we have a partnership where we're pursuing projects together. So by the grace of God, we've been able to get awarded several projects. One in the city of Tampa, they have an initiative to do more infill affordable housing, and we've been able to win awards there. In the city of Ocala, they had initiatives to revitalize certain parts of the city, and we were able to win some awards there. And we're still pursuing various public-private partnerships. Outside of the development side and the experience, one of the things that is super vital to us is whenever there's an effort to revitalize a community, a neighborhood, it's important for us to make sure that the community is involved, to make sure that those that live in the community can see themselves in the people that are working on these projects. And that's a really big mission that we have, being young African-American men, me being from Miami, my business partner being from Philadelphia. what we've noticed on several projects and as we grow through this industry is those that are providing the services, those that are winning the jobs, those that are developing these neighborhoods and community don't necessarily reflect the people that live there. And that's super important for us to be able to create diversity and opportunities for the residents to be a part of our projects. So when the young man mentioned how can he have some help with putting together youth programs in the community, that resonates with us. When the two women that came in and said they have a vision for coming up with a restaurant and a concept where they can actually eat in the neighborhood that they live in, that resonated with us because there's no reason why the basic necessities that a person, a human being needs to live and can't be within their own community, and they have to go outside of their neighborhood in order to partake in it, to invest in it, or to buy or consume. We see the city of Opa-locka, especially the downtown area, being a place where you can live, work, and play. It has all the makings for it. It has the staff, the people, the board to want to see something different than what has happened over the years. So there's not a project or a asset class that we're not familiar with. I have a tremendous amount of experience in affordable housing, as either be through using various funding sources, SHIP, home, CDBG, low-income housing tax credits. My business partner has a ton of experience on the market rate side. So together, collectively, there's not much that we can't do or accomplish. But the bigger thing is we just want to inspire some hope and create some opportunities, not just from a business standpoint, but just from a community engagement and inspiration. Like we want to inspire the youth, especially young men like Michael, to see themselves doing more and doing better. So I do want to pause and open it up for questions, but there's just a few things I wanted to share just to let everyone know that, hey, we're here, we want to help, we want to be a part of the process, and we're certainly open to partnerships.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Do you have any questions for him? Make sure that you send your information, get your information to Corian so that we board members can also have some documents that we can look at a later date as well. Thank you so much. Any questions? If not, we're going to go to the third person that's on the line.
We're good?
Okay, he says we're good. Board Member Paget had something.
Thank you, Chairwoman Russell. I apologize coming in late. I was actually listening with you two coming from work, coming in here today, and I just wanted to.
Excuse me, 1 second. Also, board member, for those of you that don't know, Board Member Paget is also the mayor of the city, but on this board, he's just a board member.
Thank you, Chairwoman.
Introduce you properly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I sat back and I just listened, and I was just inspired and impressed for everyone coming up here today. This is what gives us an honor to sit here on this day, is to hear people from our community, people from outside our community wanting to come in, come back and develop and just really make this community what we wanted to see. So much respect to all the developers that came in with their vision, ideas about what they can do. To the future owners of Tasties in here in Opa-locka, thank you for coming back home and wanting to create that space here in Opa-locka. To the young man, Michael, brother, you keep doing it and stepping up, man. That's what we need in our community. So we need that continued generation. So thank you. And also to Mayor Cava's office, I want to really appreciate you for taking the time. Ms. Melanie Burke for being here, listening in. This is what this is about. So I just from the bottom of my heart, thank everyone for being a part of this. And most importantly, Mr. Delane for organizing, making sure and inviting all these individuals here to this meeting and giving us that inspiration. Much respect for doing your duty. Respect.
Thank you, Board Member Paget. I think we're about finished with all of our presentations. We would like for you all, if you want to stay for the remainder of the meeting, we have some more business that we have to attend to. But I just can't say it enough that we're excited. We're really excited about what's going to happen in the city of Opa-locka, and to see so many developers that are coming, and entrepreneurs that are coming, and the youth that is coming to our community and bringing something with them to make our community great. So we want to move to the business at hand. I think we have 2 resolutions.
A resolution of the Board of the Opa-locka Community Redevelopment Agency, OCRA, authorizing the adoption of the downtown master plan, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Move it.
Moved by Board Member Williams.
Second.
Double that second. I don't know who it was, but anyway. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, who second? Okay, thank you. Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Board Member Paget,
Yes.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Board Member Williams,
Yes.
Vice Chair Davis,
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes,
item passed.
I think we deserve a. Now we're gonna move this from paper. It's gonna get feet and start to walking. Go ahead, Mrs. Delane.
Through the chair, working on this document with the consultant Stantec, working closely with Jared Beck and David Dixon, I can honestly say that, seeing that this plan is finally moving forward, it's been a long road, but I'm excited that we finally put a document together that's not just a piece of paper. As evidence shown in the audience and virtually, this document has actually provided new life into what we're trying to see here in Opa-locka. And I'm proud to say that myself and staff, we've worked really hard on this. And we just want to ensure that we provided the best for our residents and provide the best for our business and property owners in order to provide something that is really tangible and really great. So we can actually have a community to call home, and our residents have a community to call home. So I'm excited, and this is only the beginning. So.
The next resolution.
A resolution of the Board of the Opa-locka Community Redevelopment Agency, OCRA, approving repayment to the city of Opa-locka for services rendered in regard to the downtown master plan presentation, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Move it. Moved by Board Member Williams, second by Board Member Taylor. I think that we need to make an amendment to this item. Go ahead.
Through the chair, I made an observation earlier today due to the payment of the event. Initially, it was going to be through the city. However, the CRA will be taking on this cost. And I do have a letter that I'll be passing to the board members to just highlight on the rationale behind why the CRA will be paying, which was the intended goal. Since, we're looking at separating the CRA and the city's businesses, this is the opportunity to begin to do that. So I'll be forwarding a letter to you all as we speak, so you can read through it, and we'll move forward with this item. But I will look to amend this item from a repayment to the city as an expenditure of the CRA.
Any questions?
Chairwoman,
Yes, sir.
this expenditure, as you said, it's coming out of the event line item?
Mr. Delane is coming out of the events line item. I'll pass it.
Or, and if not, where is it coming from?
Due to the fact that this was a fiscal 21 expenditure, this is actually coming out of the previous budget, and that item is listed on the letter. This will be coming out of the other professional services line item from the previous year, correct? If this is after September 30th, then that would be coming out of the events item.
Okay, so it doesn't affect the budget at all. That's what I'm getting at.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Board Member Paget,
Yes.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Board Member Williams,
Yes.
Vice Chair Davis,
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes.
amendment passed.
And before we get into Mr. Delane's discussion, you have some updates that he needs to bring us. I would just like to say also that on Saturday, we had a great event in the city of Opa-locka. It was fantastic. It represented us well, and to Commissioner Taylor, Board Member Taylor, and to the staff that worked along with you. I was glad to be there, and it made me feel good to be a part of what was going on. And the CRA was just there as a support, but in the future, we look forward to being even more involved. So thank you very much. You did a fantastic job. I mean, even people that just saw it on the internet was saying, boy, y'all had a good looking event in Opa-locka. So it was very, very well put together, very well attended. I think the city was represented well. Great job. Mayor Pack.
I echo those sentiments. I
Yes.
got calls. Matter of fact, today I was gonna call someone else like, that Congo local, next time invite me over there so I can come out. So kudos, Commissioner Teller, for leading and spearheading that event and putting on an event that represent us very well here in Opa-locka for our residents.
Yeah, it was.
Chairman Russell, one thing I was looking at on this agenda that I didn't see, I know that we passed a budget to hire an executive director. How are we moving to make that happen? Are we gonna make a motion to appoint, or is it gonna come up on the next agenda? How do we move that process forward? Because I know there's some good busy going on, and we need to make sure that we got somebody that can do that.
Yeah, well, what we're doing, Board Member Packard, is we're taking a few months to get things moving. And then we have to put a process in place that we'll bring back to the board in order to do the hiring of the executive director. Because according to our bylaws, we have to, we have to open it up to everyone. So it's a process, it's going to be done, but we want to, because Mr. Delane is new in this position, we want to make sure that he's comfortable, the board is comfortable, and we're moving forward. So far, we've been doing a great job, and we've been giving Mr. Delane a lot of accolades. We haven't really beat him good yet, but but we want to take our time. We don't want to move too fast. So over the next 3 months, we'll do an assessment of how we are after that time, and then we'll move. I think we'll be ready to move in that direction.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Delane, all on you.
First, I'd like to echo those sentiments in regards to the event that was on Saturday, the first annual Opa-locka event, as Board Member Taylor likes to say. Well, first and foremost, I actually want to acknowledge the excellent work, the outstanding work that Parks and Rec, as well as our Public Works and Maintenance staff in helping us to facilitate the event, setup, breakdown, like they did an outstanding job. And I just would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge them for all the work that they've done, not just with the event, but also with City Hall and with, the downtown master plan event. I know I haven't had much time to make that announcement, but I just want to make it on record that we do appreciate all the work that they've done. So with that, I will actually go into my discussion items. So within the discussions, we'll look at item I1, which is pretty much any review or feedback from the downtown master plan and the presentation itself. If the board has had an opportunity to review any of the documentation and they had any feedback or comments or concerns, we'd be open to hearing any of those at this time.
Board members, when we had the presentation, I think it's always good after you have events to have like a debriefing. So what Mr. Delane is asking is, do you have, would you like to give any comments, things that we could do better in the future? Would you like to send them to him in a written form? Any ideas that you may have or help that we need? Okay, did a great job. You better suck that up right now. Okay, go right ahead.
All right, we'll be going into item I2, which was development activity and meetings. I would say this would be an item, but as we had at the beginning of this meeting, I'm pretty sure that's covered item I2 with the introduction of the developers and the activities that we're looking to see in Opa-locka.
And Mr. Delane, I have a question. Are you asking the developers to give you any type of plan that they have, if they already have a plan, a written plan, something that we as board members can have to look over to see how we're going to incorporate it into the master plan?
Correct. As development activity occurs over time, we'll be asking for conceptual drawings to provide to the board. I've also spoken with developers to basically state that, if you want to do business in the CRA, the best role to do that is to present it to the CRA board for our blessing, because there may be opportunities for us to assist, and especially that keyword of partnership comes to mind. And in order to do that, you have to be present. You have to, at least introduce yourself and put a name to the face, and we can move forward from there.
Okay.
The next item is I3, and it's in regards to blighted properties in the CRA area. Within your packet, there's actually some information that was provided from city staff for both the police department as well as the building and licensing department. We're actually looking at this property, a particular property over in the Magnolia North area. If you see in your packet, there is some conditions that fall in the line of slum and blight, which is pretty much what we've been commissioned to tackle.
And that starts on page like 180.
I was gonna say, yes, Madam Chair, I believe I'm familiar with this building. This is the old Bradford Cleaners that's located over on Alabama Avenue in the Magnolia North community that's adjacent to the Kaboom Park.
Yes.
Yeah, so did we get any formal opinion as to I guess how we could either acquire the property or declare it as a public nuisance because of safety concerns? I know that I've been very concerned with this property over the years and the city's, I guess, lack of action or other regulatory agencies to to do something with it. Wow, looking at these pictures, man, it really looks bad on the inside, and it appears that someone is living in the space. I do know that I reached out to the attorney's office who provided a legal opinion as it relates to acquiring abandoned and foreclosed properties within our city. I know, well, I don't have the official analysis in front of me, but just drawing from our conversation, apparently eminent domain or, trying to obtain the property through a tax lien or certificate where other entities ultimately have precedence over whatever liens that the city would have, that wouldn't be an option. So we really need to, I guess, look at ways that we can attend to these properties through our nuisance and abatement process. So I'll be glad to continue to work with the attorney on this specific issue. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I think that let me say this correct here. We've talked to the attorney's office, but I think we're using the police department and the building department to go the route of public safety and also unsafe structure. So I don't know whether you want chief to, if the chief would come up.
And before he speaks, I just want to elaborate on what's been handed out. So the two documents that you have before you is an email trail dating back to 2017 to current that states all of the conditions that code enforcement as well as planning and community development have documented, as well as building in regards to activities at the site. Also within your packet includes, as you've seen, the photos that are both from the police as well as building and licensing. The second packet that was handed out to you is actually the legal review from our legal department, which pretty much depicts on the city's ordinance in regards to nuisance abatement and the options that are available to us at this time. And with that, I've opened the floor to Chief Barrier that can speak in regards to the police analysis.
Thank you very much, Chief Brewer, Chief of Police, Opa-locka Police Department. So one of the things coming in and taking over the agency that I like to do is to assess particular areas and try to find out some of the underlying causes of what's creating some of the crime issues in our city. One of the things that became apparent was this particular location and how it contributes or helps to facilitate some of the criminal activity that's occurring in that area. I myself have pretty extensive experience in what they call crime prevention through environmental design, and have done multiple security surveys throughout my career, which is where you see a lot of the pictures and a lot of the background concerning that one particular location. As far as the police department is concerned, obviously we within our scope of authority, we can't condemn buildings or anything like that. The only thing that we can do as an agency is report and obviously address any criminal activity, but report any locations that we feel help or that contribute to the overall crime problem in the area. As you can see, there was multiple indications inside and outside that immediate property, which shows a long history of criminal use, which became a concern. And with that, knowing that it is a long-term problem, I have concerns as a chief of police for the safety of anybody or our children that are in that park. The area residents, obviously, any concerns that are generated from that. And in addition to any of the schools in the area. So that prompted a conversation between myself and Corian concerning any long-term solutions outside of the police department to help resolve this. My overall goal is what solution cannot involve the police department or resources in it to try to resolve the issue from the root cause to keep anything from coming back. So hence the report was provided.
Thank you, Chief Ferrero. And we can look at the documents and see that that property is it's long overdue, long overdue. We also have Mr. Gay. Any questions for the chief? I know it's documented well. Everything is documented well in this.
I just have one quick question, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Chief, I know a few years ago, I think 1 year to be exact, we passed this commission, well, the commission passed a vacant property ordinance where pretty much the goal was to come up with a comprehensive list of those vacant and abandoned properties throughout our city. Whereas the police department, when you guys are on patrol and that sort of thing, that you would be made aware, you know, what properties are, you know, currently have, you know, living residents as well as those properties that are vacant and abandoned. The reason why I decided to sponsor that legislation was to, you know, be proactive in a sense of enforcement. Do you have any sort of master list of other properties? I know we're pretty familiar with this property, and of course, is a point of concern because of its proximity to the local park there. But are you aware, or are we actively patrolling any other vacant properties throughout our city that have similar characteristics?
Okay, thank you, sir. I have not personally seen a detailed vacant or list of blighted properties. I did have a discussion. I do have a personal list, or one that was provided to me, a short list of kind of the higher end prioritized locations that are consistently been problematic. But if one does exist, a list does exist, and I will locate that and ensure those properties. So, and again, if I may, the goal in any problematic location, there are usually three issues: it's surveillance, access, and territorial reinforcement. A lot of those blighted properties have either one of the three. The ones that have all three deficiencies are usually the ones that are like this one location here. That'll create long-term problems as far as even with the police department obviously checking the property. It's important to us to address any criminal activity going on there. But again, just speaking as a chief, it becomes incredibly demanding on our staffing for an issue. I would like to try to see and partner with anybody that and like we had Corey and I have, to try to see what we can do long-term to address what's really going on, whether it be owner responsibility for the care of the property, appropriately securing any vacant structures, or addressing any of the, if it's a criminal activity piece, then obviously that falls on the police department. But partnering, I know sometimes documentation is needed from our end, and providing that in order to move forward either on the legal end or from the city.
Yeah, I would say just reach out and just find out where we are in that process. I know we did pass legislation to put that forward, and it speaks to some of the things that you're talking about, such as, you know, owner responsibility. Again, is, you know, it's a small fee that's associated with the registration. So what it would do, hold those property owners accountable in a sense where, you know, we would know who they are. They will remain on the central registry and pay an annual fee. And again, it's not a money-making initiative. It's just something that we want to put in place to encourage safety and compliance.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I would just recommend just reaching out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairwoman.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for giving us the memorandum from the city attorney's office. Definitely need to dissect that packet a little bit further. My question, I think, I'm not sure who can answer, maybe Mr. Gay, probably been here the longest. Who owns the property And if this, what I'm hearing is this property has been blighted for several years now. Was this property blighted when the park was built, and was it a problem then? But that's my question, because why did it not get tackled then if we decided to build a park next to a blighted building already? So and I guess I'm saying, if the owners, and I don't know, maybe it's in the briefing, I don't know. Then how then, if it's privately owned, why didn't we do anything about it before we built the park next to it? Thank you.
I think Board Member Williams, before Mr. Gay speaks, I think Vice Chair Davis was a part of that process with building that park. And if I remember, he could help me out with this, when Opa-locka CDC, and I think it was a couple other entities got together and built that park, that property was boarded up, and I think it was closed off. It wasn't in the shape that it is now. It has gotten worse over the years, but it was in litigation or whatever is going on, because I know for many years, Opa-locka have been going back and forth with that property. So Vice Chair Davis might be able to help us out. And I don't know whether Mr. Gay has been here for the duration of when that park was built. But I know when the park was built, the building didn't look like it does now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could recollect, so we built that park in approximately, I think it was 2012, in January of 2012. As you know, it was a joint partnership with the city that was led by the nonprofit organization, the Opa-locka Community Development Corporation. The Opa-locka Community Development Corporation was awarded a grant. I think it was roughly like $20,000 to build and construct a playground within the Magnolia North community. Going forward with the project, of course, it was a partnership between the city, South Florida Regional Planning Council, and various other nonprofit providers, Kaboom, and a bunch of providers. What ended up happening was ultimately, we made the formal request to the city of Opa-locka to, because of its close proximity to the park space, to either foreclose or just kind of repurpose the adjacent property, because there were concerns when we were looking for actual site for the park that, safety and, those type of things would be an issue, being that kids would be playing on the park and participating. At the time, it was a, different focus within the leadership within the city. And I don't know, from my knowledge, it was always on the demolish list. So it was heading in that direction. Why it hasn't occurred, I'm just as curious as you are, Board Member Williams. So I'll give Mr. Gay an opportunity to maybe speak to that.
Thank you, Vice Chair, members of the board, Gregory Gay. This has been a problem property for quite some time. It predates me being a part of the city. But based on the information that has been made available, and as the Vice Chair has just said, this property was on a list of unsafe structures, which is a list that is developed where you want to have a property dealt with. You go through Miami-Dade County, and they would basically render a decision whether this property would be demolished. This property, along with about 12 other properties, were on a list in 2012, 2013. I saw that list in 2014 when I first came on board. At that time, It's from my understanding, the property owner, who is now deceased, did come forth and said that he had plans to make modifications and basically improve the property. Now, since 2012 to now, which has been almost 10 years, the property owner has deceased. His family is still involved with the property, but the family does not reside in the United States. So we basically have a true absentee property where you're dealing with. Since that time, our staff, and since I've taken on building and licensing as being the director of that, the building official did make a determination that this was an unsafe structure, as was recommended by the city attorney's office. We did render a letter to be sent to Miami-Dade County, basically requesting that this property be placed back on the unsafe structures list. I've asked staff to accelerate that process as quickly as possible so that we can have a decision rendered, hopefully before the end of this year, to basically make a determination that this property is an unsafe structure. Now, once that does occur and you're on the unsafe structures list, then it becomes a pick and choose situation on Miami-Dade County side as it relates to the funding availability and the hiring of the demolition team to make that demolition take place. So we would have done as much as we can thus far, but when the demolition will take place and whether there may be another family member to show up and put an injunction saying, no, 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 I want to do something with that property, that's an unknown to us at this time. We want to try to move as aggressively as possible, and hopefully with Miami-Dade County, through the assistance with the mayor's office, we can kind of push that agenda as quickly as possible. The vice chair of the Board of County Commissioners is aware of the situation. And he has basically said, until you have pushed this to the Unsafe Structures Board, there's really nothing that he can do. So we've made those advances thus far. And hopefully either the November or December agenda, we're trying to meet those particular agendas so that we can actually have this particular item heard and a decision rendered. Pretty much all of the other information.
Mr.
There's a
Gay,
question.
before you go to the next portion, unsafe structure through Miami-Dade County. You're saying that with all of the documents that we have submitted occurred, that there's a long process?
As far as the decision-making, that can be a relatively short process. We're hoping to get on the agenda either in November or December, so a decision can be rendered. Now, how long it will take from that decision being made to the building actually being demolished, we do not control that particular timeline.
So the county is the one that would demolish the building?
Yes, in essence. They will be the ones to provide the funding and to hire the contractor for the demolition. And even, I must say, let me just add on this, even with that whole process being done, that does not change the ownership, because the ownership will still remain as is. Which is why we were looking at taking it through a legal process for the city or the CRA to potentially acquire the property, either through foreclosure of the liens or the citations. And as you can see from the printout, there's close to, there's over $500,000 in liens and citations on this property. So we're trying to look at every opportunity there is to, one, alleviate the problem, which is the existing structure itself, and to look into opportunities of potentially acquiring the property so that either through the city or the CRA, there could be a redevelopment opportunity to take place.
Chairwoman Russell.
Well, I'm gonna, because I get lost for, right now I'm lost for words, but go ahead.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I'm just happy to see that we are having this conversation once again. I know every single year since I've been on this dais, we've had conversations about this. I'm sure you can look back through emails and see, I think it was back in 2017. We had code enforcement go to the property. I believe back in 2018, we had the attorney try and foreclose on the property. In 2019, there was conversation. Matter of fact, when the manager first got here, within the first 2 months, I think he was also moving on this property. And things didn't really move in last year because of COVID. But I'm just happy to see that we are having this conversation again, because as long as we continue to stay on top of this, hopefully pray that this will get resolved, because that property is an epicenter for a nuisance in Magnolia North, the Triangle. So I'm just happy to see that we're moving this, and I hope that we can choose one of these options that was laid out in the attorney's legal opinion in regards to this, and just move forward. Because we even, as Commissioner Davis brought up, we even brought legislation in the abandoned structure legislation back in 2000, what was that? 19, that was last year, in 2019, but that was part of the process. So yeah, we look forward to seeing something move on this. But I'm echo your sentiments, Chairwoman Russell, as a loss for words about what's taking so long. But we are happy that it's moving, and that we see staff are taking the action to move on this. So thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Board Member Bass.
Thank you. I don't know if this is in order or not, but I saw that gentleman raising his hand, and I would really like to know what it is that he wants to say. I don't know if that's protocol or not, but
1 minute.
but she would have to give it the okay. I really just want to know what it is he
2.
wanted to say.
Jurisdiction, or it's the county's jurisdiction? I'm trying to find out this property here, because I'm building in there now. And I thought that Opa-locka controls. My name is Ariel Lundy. I'm building a house right here, a building out here on 14911 Duval Street. So I was under the impression, like, if there's a property in the jurisdiction of Opa-locka, this is my opinion, that Opa-locka have the right to lien violations. Those violations become a problem after a while, and then you can take that lien and go through certain conditions without going to the county. What you need the county for when it's here in this jurisdiction? That's what I'm confused about.
Okay. We're gonna help you out in a minute, okay?
Yes.
Calm down. We're gonna help you out. We just got this document from the attorney this afternoon for us to look at one of these options or some of these options. And this document is not even to the CRA board, it's to the mayor and the commission. So for me, I can't speak on it because it's not to the CRA board. So Mr. Ariel?
Yes, ma'am.
We were CC'd on it because we're to look at it, but this is to the mayor and the commission. Okay, so it's not a discussion that I think as chair that I could be having. Okay, we will CC'd. Now, if the attorney wants to chime in, she can, but I'm not going to speak on something that's not.
Madam Chair, if I may.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment because, I mean, clearly it's addressed to me. I asked for the legal opinion, but it was in reference to, I guess, this kind of loose problem. So not just properties within our CRA area, but vacant properties throughout our city. It was speaking to that, kind of that entire process. So when I made the inquiry, I made it to the attorney and I asked her to provide an opinion in reference to being able to take action on those properties. Now, I understand that it is addressed to the commission, and after my conversation with her, she did say that she would copy members of the commission. But I think she just wasn't aware that it was a CRA issue, because I didn't mention it to her. I was speaking more on the side of the city, because when we talk about liens and even nuisance abatement, it's not under the purview of the CRA board. So maybe that's why it was addressed in that way. But I was the original board member that made the request. And of course, we have due responsibilities. So we serve on the commission as well. So maybe just a matter of error, in my opinion, on attorney's behalf.
Madam
Okay.
Chairperson?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it was a comprehensive outline and memorandum regarding the issues, because this has come from the CRA side as well as the city side. So she's providing a comprehensive outline of the options available to the city. So yeah, you're able to speak on it.
Okay, I just don't want to step outside the boundaries of this little seat right here that I sit in. I don't want nobody to think that I'm trying to take on what should be going somewhere else. But with that being said, Mr. Lundy, I know that for you as a developer in that community, that's an issue. It's an issue that we're pushing as hard as we can. I don't know how much harder we could push, but I know that I've spoken to the chief. I've met with him on several occasions, and I know that the chief is pushing, the manager is pushing, Corian, Mr. Delane is pushing, the commission, and we as a board, we're all pushing. Now, we have to work with the county. We have to work with the county because they're the ones that handle unsafe structures. That's the understanding that I have.
Can I ask one question? I'm trying to find out. See, I don't have an unsafe structure board here at all, to where if there's a property in this municipality, you have the right to be able to go in.
I don't think go ahead, Mr. Gay, you can answer.
Yes, this, Gregory Gay. The city of Opa-locka does not have its own unsafe structures board to address those particular concerns. There are other municipalities that you're familiar with that do have that jurisdiction to deal with that, but unfortunately, the city of Opa-locka does not, so they will have to defer the responsibilities in addressing those particular concerns to Miami-Dade County. So we're gonna work with them as aggressively as possible. Like I said, the vice chair, District Commissioner 1, for District Commission 1 is aware of it.
Yes.
Once it gets over to the Unsafe Structures Board and they have ruled, I'm pretty sure he's going to pursue it very aggressively to seek whatever means necessary to have this property dealt with.
And I just want to say that on the both the CRA and city side, that our city manager, John Pate, has made this a point of emphasis to make sure that staff is directed to handle this this issue in earnest. So I just want to make the board aware that everyone involved with this project has been taking it head on, and it is an item of urgency for all of us. So I just want to make that point known that the manager's office is well aware, and it's priority 1 on his list.
So, like I say, I'm lost for words because I just think that the process is just taking entirely too long. And I don't want next year for us as a CRA board to be back at the table again, saying that we have to go through another process. So if we're crossing all of our T's and dotting all of our I's on this go round, hopefully the building, it will get demolished. And does it have to go through the nuisance and abatement board for the city? Is that a part of the process?
As it stands right now, it's not scheduled to go before the nuisance abatement board.
But I'm asking, is that a part of the process that it should go through to make it to the county? Because if it gets to the county and someone says, gets an attorney and says, well, it didn't go through Opa-locka didn't go through the process that they should have gone through, then we're going to be back at square one. So I want to make sure that we are following the process in taking it to the county, that we, the city, have done everything that we're supposed to do to make sure that it gets to the county, and that is, so if the vice chair says he's going to fast track it, we don't want to come back and say we didn't do our due diligence.
I fully understand what you're saying. We will double check and make sure that if we do have to take it before the nuisance abatement board, we will move as aggressively as possible to get that scheduled. And then from there, scheduling it before the unsafe structures board with Miami-Dade County. We'll move on both of those issues to make sure. We'll double check and make sure that both of those particular items will be handled.
Okay, thank you, Ms. EA. We're going to hold you to that too.
I'm pretty sure you will. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Delane.
Moving on to a lighter topic. The next item is item I4, which is in regards to special projects and the issuance of an events calendar. Within your packet on page 200, I provide a memo within your packet to elaborate on the examples of some events that the CRA board would like to partake in. Looking at the budget that was adopted on, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, we established a marketing and special events, special projects budget item. And within that, I want to ensure that moving forward in regards to events, we can at least create a calendar of a couple of staple events. That way we know when they're programmed, we can allocate certain dollars towards it and ensure that we provide proper planning in due time in order to do it. Also, I noted that with that, I would like to basically issue the idea of having an ad hoc committee to assist in the planning of these events. That way the community has an opportunity to speak in regards to the type of events they would like to see and assist in the planning and coordinating of these events. That way we ensure that the community stakeholders are definitely in place to see these events come to fruition.
Sounds good. I have a question.
No, I was gonna say, I like the idea. I remember as a young organizer, we at the CDC, we used to have a community advisory board, and it was very helpful with programming because, you know, you get insight of, you know, what the community may want or see, or specific needs within the community. So I really applaud you for taking a step to encourage our community to get engaged and participate in that process. But thank you, Corian. Thank you for that.
And I would like to know, do we need to vote on an ad hoc, or we could just, is that something that we need to vote on?
Yes, you would need to vote on that.
Okay. And in thinking about it, I see the activities. Yes, ma'am, Madam Clerk.
I just want to speak a while ago. If my memory serves me well, we did speak on that. And I think Board Member Williams was to take on that. I just wanted to just speak on that. I can't go into detail, but I do remember in the minutes a few meetings ago. I'm not sure if the protocol still needs to be made to vote on it, but I just recall somewhat of that. I'll let Board Member Williams speak.
I believe that was an ad hoc for something else, not for activities.
No, it wasn't for activity, but
Yes,
it
it
was
was.
an ad hoc
Yes,
committee
it was.
that we did talk about. But if if we need to vote on it, is it something we can do tonight or we can bring it back or what do we need to do?
You would need to bring it back because you would need to delineate all the requirements and anything else that you need to have the committee operate and be by resolution.
Okay. And I know Michael would be a great person to be a part of that ad hoc committee from the community. He would be great. Looks good. One other suggestion I would have is I see everything, all of the activities that you have going on is on the west side. You know, CRA is also on the east side. So spread out some of these activities throughout the CRA so it doesn't look like you have all of the activities going on in one area.
Correct. As I stated also in the memo, this is not limited to, so these are just examples.
Okay.
I didn't alienate any, but you know, looking at the downtown and trying to reinvigorating that and create some type of events corridor that expands from that. That is pretty much where my rationale came from, but it's not to alienate any side of the city. Because at the end of the day, we're still all one Opa-locka.
Yes. Because we don't want to have that stigma that people always say they're always doing everything on the one side of the city and forget about the other side. So keep that in mind. Very good.
And the last item is in regards to an update on the facade improvement program. And I have the update that I forwarded along to you all right now.
We getting a lot of paperwork tonight.
Just a little bit.
You're gonna get you a clerk after, not a clerk, you're gonna get you some assistants after a while. You want to go ahead, in a hurry because everybody looks like they're getting exhausted. So can we do it?
Yes, really quickly. As you see, this is just an update of each of the projects as well as the funds that have been received up to today. And the total amount that's been dispersed as of today is $11,920.
Out of 100,000?
That would be correct.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was it again? Can you repeat it again, Corianna, please?
The amount that has been expended so far is $11,920 out of $100,000.
Got it. And is the loan image
Yes, the loan image is from item number 1.
Got it.
And it's for the new gate that they installed.
Okay. And when do we anticipate numbers 2, 3, and 4? I guess 5 is still in limbo. When do we anticipate those projects to move forward?
So I'll go in order. Item 2, I believe they're going back to resurface their parking lot. The previous contractor didn't complete the project, so they're actually looking to redo that project. Item 3, Mr. Tracy Tompkins actually had a death in the family. His mother passed, as well as, you know, dealing with COVID complications himself. And that hindered the business tremendously. So right now, you know, they're just now getting back up to speed. However, you know, due to certain operations, they're exploring the possibility of continuing on the program with their contractor. If not, then there'll be some decisions made after that. And in item 4, they're still waiting on their items to be sent back to them from the permitting, from the building department.
So we're the holdup with item number 4.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, go
Did
ahead.
I cut some?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just had a quick question for Delane, Mr. Delane. I noticed every different amounts. Are these the amounts that they requested and they're receiving based off of what the application was about? Or is there a specific checklist? It's just, they're all different amounts. So they receive what they asked for. Is that what I'm?
So each applicant was to apply for up to 33% of the total construction cost. And that's what we would be providing funding for. I can provide that documentation in regards to the overall program for your review, that you can see how the program is operated through and through.
You can email it. We kill trees. Too many around here.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Delane, on number 3, it says funds received, but it doesn't have a dollar amount. That's probably just a typographical error.
Yes, I noticed it is on 3 and 5. I just put that basically saying what they've received so far. And in 3, it basically says they were approved for the waiver on May 25th. However, as I mentioned before, they're having some challenges. And on item 5, that was the item that was denied on July 27th. And they have yet to coordinate with the project manager on this. So that's where those projects stand as of right now.
My concern is that we have in the budget for this year to have another facade program, and we haven't expended little or nothing over of these dollars. We need to possibly, board members, we need to look at a different way of handling maybe the facade program in the future. Because I know with COVID, we had some challenges, but by now, except for the one that we have the picture of, nobody seems like they've done a whole lot.
So through the chair, I would like to make a suggestion. Looking at this next fiscal year, we look to re-engage the program, however, expand it from just facades to also provide small business assistance funding. It may be an opportunity where we can earmark X amount of these funds from this program, close this program out, and just provide small business assistance funding for businesses where we can reconsolidate those funds and basically create criteria for small business assistance, if that is the will of the board.
I would think that before we, I think that's a good idea, but I think before we do that, we need to close this out and reassess what was done to see, if a facade program is something that we want to take on again, because we have money set aside and the dollars that were not spent on last fiscal year, what are we going to do with those dollars that are going to be carried over? So I see Vice Chair Davis, Board Member Bass, and Board Member Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I feel that we should, at the very least, expend the funds of the first facade program, being that it is a pilot. There's no secret, I wasn't the biggest supporter of the project when we first rolled it out because of, I say the limitations of the CRA area. And of course, we decided to move to phase 2 of the project. But I do think it's important that we do finish, what we set out to start. Yeah, that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Board Member Bass.
Thank you. If I understood it correctly, basically, if the residents cannot afford the project, this is how I'm looking at it. It says up to 33.3%. that we will provide. And I'm thinking maybe that's the problem. Is that correct? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they can't afford the balance. And it's not that it's not needed, it's that maybe we're not providing enough. That's
Well,
it.
Mr. Delane, if you want to answer, I know when we started this project, Mr. Delane, but before you became CRA interim, you worked on the facade program, right? That was one of your responsibilities?
Correct.
Okay, but I think board members, we need to really look at this, because to being a first project, we need to clean it up and before we move forward, because we don't want our first project to not look good. So if we need to go back and talk to the business owners and find out what is the issue, why can't the project get finished? Because they have to put something, they have to contribute something. So if that's an issue, then we as a board, I think the CDC offered waivers. We did approve one waiver for one of the applicants. The other waiver didn't provide sufficient evidence for us to approve the second waiver. But I think that we really need to look at this process. And Mr. Delane, bless you, Mr. Delane needs to talk to those business owners and get a real feel of where we are. And at our next meeting, we need to have something concrete that we put in place concerning this, either move forward or do something, because this is not looking the best. Board Member Paget, and then after Board Member Paget.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I will continue to advocate that we do what happens in like other similar cities, where they take a street or a block and they renovate a complex, a plaza, to make a really big impact. So if there's going to be a change, I would love for us to just take a street, a block, or area and do some renovations that brings and respects the Moorish architecture, our city, and can really develop that area. We can do that step by step to really beautify this city. So that's what I would like to see. I'll put my 2 cents into the conversation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Well, I do agree with my colleague. If we were to focus on maybe an area as opposed to spotting it, I think it'd be more effective on the CRA side. But also, when I wasn't here, so when this rolled out, was it a soft rollout or was it an aggressive campaign? Did people know that it was going on, or?
Well, we hired a consultant that really handled the project for us, because we didn't have the staff at that time to actually see the project through. So we went through a consultant. Opa-locka CDC was our consultant on this project. But now that we have a little more staff, has a little bit more time, we can look at it in a different light, but we need to clean this one up.
And
we need to do something with this.
then
And so, go ahead.
Oh, my next question is, when they did two things, is there a criteria in there about timeline of which the project has to be finished by? And also, did the applicants have to provide proof of funds to show that they had the money before we gave them money to embark in this project? Because I think that's probably where, because if we would have known that they didn't have it, then maybe we shouldn't have jumped in that water.
You want to answer that, Mr. Delane?
Within their application, they had to provide they had to provide pretty much justification of their business, their W-9s, and pretty much proof of business within the city of Opa-locka. In terms of funds, I have to go back and check those applications to see if that was also a part of the application. But the majority of the companies had to provide that they were a stable entity, especially licensed in the city of Opa-locka. So that is pretty much where we are with that. And I'd also like to echo, with a couple of solutions in mind in regards to the remaining funds for this project, knowing that we want to close this out and look at evaluating. During the next meeting, I'll be calling the CDC, the OLCDC to this meeting, because one of the options I want to look at is, as we just discussed, the possibility of looking at the remaining funds and reallocating towards other uses, which is the possibility of a singular pilot project or breaking it up into small business assistance grants. I just talked with legal, and pretty much we can look at the opportunity of having that discussion with the OLCDC. If they aren't at the capacity to continue the program as directed, we do have the ability to redirect those funds still for the assistance of our business owners, but in a more constructive manner that is more amenable to assist, more than just a facade, but there may be some interior work, or there may be some staffing issues, or something that's a lot more robust that they can actually use those funds for. I think that would be able to close this project out in a short timeline. So those are my solutions in regards to handling this particular project, to close it out. And I just want the board to be aware that we do have the opportunity to do that. So.
And I would like to suggest that the next time around, we look at getting, maybe the board look at bringing in a contractor that does the work, rather than having each one of the companies get their own contractor, because that might be an issue too. And then we can hold the contractor accountable to make sure that the work gets done. So. Okay. Okay. All right. It's not public comment. Okay. All right. So we're everyone, please have some ideas and some thoughts. And if you, when you meet with Mr. Delane, give him your thoughts that you have, so that we can make sure that this project close out in a positive manner. And we look good. Okay. Board members, thumbs up. Okay. Motion to adjourn, if there's not anything else.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.